Hi, I'm Ace.
Hi, I'm Miles.
And we are your Kid Professors!
Your kid professors, and they got the energy, teaching other kids all about black history. So entertaining and so educational. Time to tune in. If you ready, here we go.
Bring you the facts right away. Talking about everyone from Rosa Parks to MLK. If you ready, let's go. Don't get no better. Two kids innocent. Your kid professor. Let's go.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to
our channel down below. Right down. Today we are going to
learn about Frederick Douglass.
Frederick Douglass.
What?
You're doing Douglas. You're not supposed to. It's not Frederick Douglass.
No,
It's Frederick Douglass.
No, it's Frederick Douglass. He's our guest speaker today.
Today, this is the beginning of season 2 of your
Kid
Professors. Your Kid Professors.
And you got the energy.
And you can tell we got a new
Classroom.
Let's first introduce Frederick Douglass.
Who is Frederick Douglass?
Frederick Douglass was an African-American social reformer, abolitionist, public speaker, writer, and politician. After escaping slavery in Maryland, he became the national leader of the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts and New York. He became famous for his public speaking and his writing. Ace, I'm going to interview Frederick Douglass, so go! Get him, kiddo.
Okay.
Hello, Frederick Douglass.
Hi.
Okay, how was your life when you were younger?
I was born Frederick Augustus Washington Billy on plantation in Cobalt County, Maryland.
Do you all know what a plantation is? Slave plantations are huge farms in the colonies that use slave labor to gather cotton and rice, sugar and tobacco, and other farm produce for trade and export. Go ahead, Mr. Douglass, and tell us about yourself.
Well, I was raised by my grandmother who was a slave.
Were you a slave?
Yes, I was. I was born in 1818.
So when is your birthday?
I really don't know my birthday. I just know it's February. Born in 1818. I picked February 14th to celebrate my birthday.
Now, Frederick Douglass, tell us a little bit about your life as a slave.
Slavery is horrible, especially for children. When I was 7 years old, I was sent to a plantation at White House Plantation. And 3 years later, my mom died.
Oh, that's sad.
Then I was sent to Baltimore to be a slave for the old family, where I was the house servant.
What about your father? Where was he?
I don't know who my father was.
He never showed up or anything?
Nope. But while I was there at the plantation, the wife of the master, Miss Sophia, started teaching me how to read and write when I was 12.
Wow. During those times, it was against the law to teach slaves how to read and write.
My master's wife told her to stop teaching me. But I found a way to keep learning. My white friends secretly gave me books, so I read and learned for them. I give pieces of bread to white kids in exchange to help me learn and read. After I learned to read, I taught other black people to read the Bible.
So how did you end up escaping from slavery?
I plotted my escape. It was in 1838. I pretended to be a sailor and carry paper that said I was a free black seaman and got on a train headed north. I arrived as as a free man after a 24-hour journey. I then met my first wife. Her name was Palmour. I chose my last name to Douglas.
You changed your last name like George Washington Carver did?
Yes.
Oh, I heard that you grew up using your mother's last name, Bailey.
Yeah, after escaping slavery, I changed it to Stanley, then Johnson. Then, after I went to Poland, and I liked it, my name was Frederick Douglass. So yeah, I changed my name to Douglas and we moved to Massachusetts.
Many abolitionists went to Massachusetts. Do you remember the word abolish? If you don't, remember abolish means the end of slavery. Are you happy?
Yes. So
An abolitionist means a person who fought to end slavery.
well, yeah, I joined the anti-slavery convention in 1841 in Massachusetts. It's the abolitionists, and began to speak in meetings about my experience as a slave.
You were so impressive as a speaker, and I'm pretty sure that some of your critics doubted that you were ever a slave. You were so good at reading and writing. You even made a book that made the bestseller list.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wrote the autobiography, Native of the Life, called Native of the Life, Frederick Douglass, so I can tell my story about being a slave.
You must like to read and write a lot since you founded a newspaper called the North Star.
Yeah, I founded a newspaper in 1847. Before I started the North Star newspaper, I had to move to England so that my foreign slave owner couldn't capture me. But in 1847, my friends raised money to buy my freedom, and then I returned to the United States.
That was so nice of your friends. Also, did you always help women's rights?
Yes, I believe equal rights to all people. I supported the right to vote to all women. I worked with activist Elizabeth Stanton and went to the first convention for women's rights in 1848.
Well, what happened during the Civil War?
I went to President Abraham Lincoln for help. I suggested that the formerly enslaved people had been given weapons to fight for the North. And President Lincoln and I went to conference to require equal treatment and play for black soldiers and fought in the Civil War.
You also continued working with President Andrew Jackson on the right to vote for Black Americans. You were also nominated for Vice President of the United States at the Equal Rights Party convention in 1872.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even know anything about that.
But how?
I didn't even campaign. They just nominated me for not even knowing. I didn't even know.
Weren't you the most photographed person in the 19th century?
Yes, I was.
Well, why don't you pose for the camera then?
Yes.
Well, I'll move out the way so you can pose. Did you have a project of Frederick Douglass? Frederick Douglass was born Frederick Barely in 1818 and later changed his name to Frederick Douglass. Number 2, Douglass was a slave by birth. His mother was a black slave. Number 3, his father was a white man. Some said his master was his father. He escaped at the age of 20 to New York and became free. Number 5, he was a pastor and a public speaker who believed in the right of black people and women. Number 6, he wrote a book about himself and started a newspaper. Number 7, Douglass was the most photographed American of the 19th century, sitting for more portraits than even Abraham Lincoln. Number 8, Douglass was the only black person to attend the first women's rights convention. Number 9, Douglass was the first black American to be nominated for vice president. Number 10, he died at the age of 77. Can anybody tell us about Frederick Douglass's legacy? I know Lewis and Hills have some.
I'm Ellis.
And I'm Lewis.
And these are some facts about Frederick Douglass. In 2020, Douglass Park in Chicago, which was originally named for U.S. Senator Stephen A. Douglass, was renamed to Douglass Park in honor of Frederick and Anna Douglass. In the 1850s, the senator wanted each state to decide if they allowed slavery or not. So students worked for a long time to change the name of the park. A statue of Douglass in Rochester, New York's Maplewood Park was vandalized and torn down over the weekend of July 4th in 2020. In New York State, there's a Let's Have Tea sculpture of Douglass and Susan B. Anthony. His final public lecture was published in 1895 on February 1st at Westchester University. This is only 19 days before he died. Today, there's a statue of him on the campus. The Frederick Douglass Institute has a program at Westchester University so that students can learn about multicultural studies and the heritage of Frederick Douglass. On April 3rd, 2017, the U.S. Mint began issuing quarters with an image of Frederick Douglass on the reverse, with the Frederick Douglass National Historic Site in the background. The coin is part of the America the Beautiful quarters. On October 18th, 2016, the Council of the District of Columbia voted that the city's new name as to be Washington, D.C., and the D.C. should stand for Douglass Commonwealth.
Good job, Lewis and Ellis. So, is there anything in particular that we have to learn about you?
If there's no struggle, there's no progress.
That's something good to know. Frederick Douglass, thank you for coming into our class. You are an amazing leader. So long.
Thank you, and you're an amazing teacher.
Thank you.
Well, Frederick Douglass was a good man.
Yes, he was, and he was inspiring to us all. Okay, class. Now that we have learned a lot about Frederick Douglass,
What did you learn today?
You didn't let me finish. Okay, but I think that is it for today. Okay, class. One more thing, class. Frederick Douglass was a great leader who fought for equality and justice for his entire life. Now that we know that much about him, what
did you learn
today?
What?
You're supposed to do it small.
What
did
you
learn today?
Yeah, Frederick Douglass, we cannot deny. Legendary, taught himself how to read and write. Born into slavery, then became liberated, helping others. That's the reason we just gotta celebrate him. All about equality and freedom, gotta love it. Second wife, Helen Pitts, fought for women's suffrage. An amazing speaker and leader. He changed so many things and forever important to American history. Hey.